Welcome to Book Club Wednesday. Guys, it has been a day, and I cannot tell you how much I needed these 2 chapters in my life today. They were so reassuring and exactly what I needed to hear. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. Chapter 1 was titled, okay, now I want to tell you a little bit. I said I was gonna jump right into it, now I'm gonna backtrack, but today was one of those days where little things just started going wrong right off the bat, and then I got that phone call that was like the wet blanket bad news that just covered everything in my life. Like, I just went into blind mode for a second and everything looked bad. I mean, it was scary news that I got, and I just lost focus of all the positivity and the happy, and on top of all the little things that went bad. And when I say little things, I mean little things. Like, I sat in line at the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru and they closed the drive-thru and didn't tell anyone, so I'm literally like in traffic in the drive-thru, and I finally get up to the window and I'm like, what's going on? Like, they just sat there and ignored me, and I had watched other people roll down their window and people come up to the window and then drive off. So I'm thinking, people are getting their orders, like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. And then a lady comes up to me and she's like, oh, the drive-thru's closed. She's like, you have to come inside. And I had my son in a car seat in the back. We were on our way somewhere. I was just trying to get him some little, what are those munchkins, the little donut hole things, so that I could like toss them to him in the back and he could eat on the way. And then we were going to church. I had this mom's class that I was going to, and I get to church and the mom's class was canceled. I had to go, well, I ended up going to Chick-fil-A to get him some food. And then of course there's a long line in Chick-fil-A, and then we go to the mom's class, it's canceled. And in between Chick-fil-A and the class being canceled, I got this call of just scary bad news. And it, like, for a second, my whole world turned upside down. And I don't know if y'all hear my voice shaking just when I say it. Like, there's so much emotion in it. And just remembering what I talked about yesterday and the day before, I drew strength from myself. And I kept reminding myself, God has good things for me. I am strong. I am clothed in strength and dignity, and I laugh without fear of the future. Because that's exactly what this news was. It was news that made me fear the future. It took away security and confidence from my future. So I just reminded myself of exactly what I've been reminding you guys. And I got home and I thought, okay, I still have to do Book Club Wednesday. I haven't even read my book yet. Normally I read it, I say normally, I've only done one, but last time I read it the night before. And today I was just like, I haven't even read it. I gotta go home and read it. And I opened it up, and the very first chapter is titled, Expect Good Things. And I was already trying to propel myself and continue this path of positivity and not let this negativity just overcome me and bring me down into a state of depression, because I knew that couldn't do me any good, that being upset about my situation wasn't going to change it. I had to be positive, and I had to figure out a way to change my situation. And to do that, looking at the bad was only going to bring me down further. So opening this book and reading this just breathed life into me today. And the first line of the first chapter is, our expectations set the limits for our lives. And so immediately I was just reminded that I had to expect good things. I knew God had good things for me. And this chapter just talks about how when you expect good things, you're exercising your faith, you're releasing faith. That is what faith is. Faith is expectation. And so it was just a good reminder that I was on the right path, that I wasn't just being naive by expecting good things, that I was releasing faith. And so that strengthened me today. This chapter talks about how you may not always feel like having that expectation, but you still have to get up every day. And in one part it actually says, remind yourself that you are more than a conqueror. he talks about the scripture where it says, surely goodness and mercy will follow me. And he said sometimes you have to stop and just look back and be like, hey, goodness, mercy, are you back there? To use all of the things that have happened to you in the past as a marker that good things have happened before and they can happen again, and just to keep your mindset on that. Sorry, there's a dog barking, so y'all are gonna hear that. I can't control the universe. But he compares your mind to a TV, and he said that bad thoughts, negative thoughts are going to come to you, but you get to choose what you watch. And in that same way that you can sit and dwell on the negative and just watch all the bad things that have happened in your life, just replay them in your mind, you can also choose to change the channel and start to relive all the good things and focus on the good things. In chapter 4 is called having a positive mindset, which you guys know, like, this is right where I am right now, and I did not expect this from this book. I did not go through this book beforehand. Like I said, I've had this book for a while, and I've never even really opened it aside from when I realized that this was the book I was going to do it on, and it just had that one little part. I read like less than a paragraph, so to really just like met me where I am. But in chapter 4, he talks about positivity and negativity and how it affects us, and even goes to say that studies have shown that thinking sad, negative thoughts actually lower our serotonin levels and make you feel sad. But on the other side, when you think positively and you set your mind on encouraging things, that actually releases endorphins and makes you feel better and gives you more energy. So scientifically it's proven, but he also talks about this spiritually and how God is a positive God. And when we choose negativity and we put that on ourselves and we just allow ourselves to sit in this pessimistic, depressed state, that we are going against the flow of God, and that you can't think negative thoughts and live a positive life. And that sounds so profound, but when you think about it, that's realistic. Like, if you are being negative, you can't live positive. That takes place in science with electrons and all of that sciencey stuff that I forgot from like 7th grade. And it's true in our nature that if you are constantly being negative, you can't live a positive life. They're opposites. They don't go together. And one of the things I really related with is he talked about how you may feel like you're falling behind and you may not be where you want to be in life, but he says, don't worry. God knows how to make up for lost time. He knows how to accelerate things. And that just shows a lack of faith. Whenever I feel like, oh, why am I this old and I'm here and I want to be here, I need to remember that I don't have to worry about those things, because in an instant, everything can change. Just like I can focus and think about how everything can turn negative with one call of bad news, I also can remember that everything can turn great with one call, with one little thing changing in my life, and just expecting and waiting for that one thing rather than worrying about that other one thing on the opposite side of the spectrum. He's very practical in this book about negativity and positivity and how they affect your life. And he says that you don't have time to waste being negative, that you have a destiny to fulfill. And it's true. If you're spending time being negative, you're wasting time. You tend to sit in negativity, but positivity is encouraging, it's uplifting, and it energizes us, and it causes us to better ourselves. He talks about how people have come to him, and you know, any of you who know about Joel Osteen know that his big foundation is hope, and that he preaches a very encouraging message, and a lot of people look down on him for that. And people have asked him, like, don't you feel like you're just setting people up for failure? And he said that, what's the opposite of that? If you're not encouraging people and telling them to wait for the best, then what? You want them to be negative and bitter? What good can come out of the opposite of positivity? Nothing. And so these chapters are really about just taking control over your mind and your thought processes and aligning them with your goals to get to where you need to be. Because once you get to the point where you have, chapter 1 is about getting your vision, and chapter 2 is about not letting other people stand in the way of that and having that inner strength to keep going towards this dream. And then chapters 3 and 4 are about removing yourself as the obstacle and releasing your faith to allow God to do these things in your life. I was not very excited about the book last week, and I will be honest, I almost just called it quits. And the only thing that kept me from calling it quits was I didn't want to be a quitter. I didn't want to get all of this hype built up about this book and then come on and be like, okay, I did 1 week, I didn't like it, I'm not going to do it, we're just going to move on. So I stuck with it in faith, and it has blessed me so much. If I would have quit, I wouldn't have read these things, not just to have a video for you guys, but things that encourage my faith and help me today in my struggles. So next week we will be going over the next 2 chapters, and that will be Commit to Excellence and Keep Growing. And then after that, we only have 1 more week of this book. So thank you for joining me for this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.